Rabotai. Welcome to another Tuesday night shiur. The shiur was sponsored for and Nishmat, your mother, Adina Angela Bakuchela. The halacha goes as follows: in Avel for 1 year, if you still see him, you have to say Hamakom Yinachem Chem with the whole pasuk. You still have 1 year to go to consult him and say that I'm sorry for your loss and so on and so forth. If you were not there by the Avelut. But you got up right after 2 days, right? Right after 2 days you got up. Shmini Atzeret, you got up, right? Yeah, so you didn't have to do a Shiva, you didn't have to do, it was a whole bunch of things.
No, I did. I had to do it after.
Yeah, I know, but you didn't have to do the whole process. You were just sitting in Avel for 2 days, not even a day and a half, and then you got up. Which is also, there's a ma'alot in every single thing. Hashem does everything for a reason. Okay, Parashat, which parasha are we this week are we up to?
Lech Lecha.
Lech Lecha. Parashat Lech Lecha. Here starts the story of the first Ivri, the first traveler, and our grandfather, our cousin's also grandfather, but our grandfather. Our whole lineage, we don't say we're from Bnei Adam, Bnei Noach, Bnei Shem ve'Ever, Bnei Lemech, Bnei Shet. No. Elokei Abraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. Why?
So it originated from them.
It originated from Adam Rishon. What do you mean?
He didn't go out of his way.
Hey, that's one shot, very nice shot. Let me just put my phone on silent. I'm going to also turn it on, since today's election day, it's telling me to do the shiur as fast as possible and to go back to my thing. But Dafka, I have to do it a little bit extra longer. I'm very into these kind of things. I'm sorry. This is the way Hashem created me. So, what's so special about Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov that we start our whole lineage, our whole bloodline starts from them? We're all family. We're all related. We're all cousins here. It's kind of sounds weird. You're marrying your cousin. You know that, right? You know that, right? B'ezrat Hashem. Now, then we hear of B'ezrat Hashem now. Before it's Chas v'Shalom, don't set me up with my cousin. You're marrying your cousin, Dafka. Which is a great thing. It's a good thing. We keep it in the family. Why is that important? When I checked my DNA. I was interested. I did a 23andMe. I also did another one, Ancestry. Someone then pointed out, do both of them. They have a little bit different. My lineage, I can show you the report. It's like 98% pure blood, pure. Like there's no outside, no nothing. Meaning, it's so clean that some DNA, you look at them, they have like 50,000 different origins. This relative and that one and this one traveled and this one married this one and this one married that one. Mine didn't come out that way. And I found that as a very big, clean Baruch Hashem kind of situation. It felt very comforting that, again, this doesn't mean anything according to Torah, but still it's good to know according to science too, that you have a certain tahara, you have a certain purity in blood, that you know that you're a Yehudi. Avraham Avinu was the same thing. I want you to picture this. We take the story of Avraham Avinu for granted.
He looked for him.
Rabbi Sai, he was the son of the Pope. He was the son of the head of all Avodah Zarah. I want you to understand this concept. He had everything. Whatever he desired, he had. And he still wasn't satisfied. He wasn't happy. He said, this can't be the truth. I should bow down to stone and wood? Did I lose my mind? Did my father really lose his mind? That's crazy. Majnun. Now, sometimes I like to watch, especially in India, how they serve Avodah Zarah. It's interesting to see how the worships are. And in India, they worship a lot of gods. and the way they act, they put themselves on fire, they cut their hair, they throw food, they dip themselves in food, they do kind of weird things. Whatever the case is, they don't really worship the cow. They do, but they don't. They hold that the cow is full of life, it gives milk, and it gave milk to the first Buddha, and so on and so forth. It also has a whole bunch of shtiyot that they come up with. But it's so interesting to see how a people of millions, India has millions of people, billions you think? There you go. And they believe in such stupidity. They believe in animals. They believe in a cow, goddammit. To the point that they smoke the dung of the cow, you know that, right? Even the psolet, the garbage that comes out of the animal, they don't want to waste it. They use it for some rituals. And we have to understand if a whole nation of billions of people, please take some pizza. We heard the music was fun outside. We hope you had fun with that. Now take some. Say hamotzi.
I just said I just came back from the
Okay, your mother cooked today.
No, I went to a restaurant.
Oh, you went to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Chaval, you wasted money. Balta shayt, you had over here free pizza. How foolish can a people be to go bow down to something so unsensical? And the truth is, it's not because it makes sense or not. People do it because people are content. People are happy. People rather deal with what they know than what they don't know. But Avram Avinu wasn't satisfied. He said, it's impossible for me to bow down to a rock. Now, I want you to understand something. These stones and rock used to actually perform miracles for you. They weren't that stupid. Yes. Now, I'm not saying that the stone started talking to you. This is not over here Mulan, that suddenly the dragon comes to life. This is not Disney. No. What happened was they would do certain rituals to the Avodah Zarah, and they felt that the Avodah Zarah used to give them a sense of answer. It used to heal them and talk and give them messages.
Like a placebo?
Whatever the case is, it's all mental, of course.
Isn't that how we feel with Hashem right now?
No, and I tell you why. Because you don't feel that he answers you.
That's not true. It's all mental, like you just said.
No, and I tell you, I'm gonna break it to you. You see, when we talk when we talk about Hashem, we have to first understand what are we talking about. Hashem is not something that we can touch, feel, see.
We can feel. What do you mean? What you feel? Something?
No, you can't feel God. You can feel His presence. Revealment and it is two different things. We can't even understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God. And you take a person that worships Avodah Zarah, something that's physical that you can see, smell, and touch, all five senses, and you can understand. You created it for the love of God. You see how the cow gets created. That is idiotic. That doesn't even make sense. It's like a son going to his mother and says, "I'm your God." The hell do you mean? I created you. I changed your diaper. I changed God's diaper. like where's the sense in that? It doesn't make sense. But for us, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's not that we believe. This is exactly what we need to fix in this generation. If your level to connection to Hashem is just on a belief level, you're very weak. It has to be on a pure no. It has to be on a no status.
What does that mean?
I'm gonna explain to you.
What did you say? You know?
Yeah, it has to be of a dot, not of a bitachon and emunah level.
Why is that?
Not a single dot.
Why? How do you get there, or why, or both?
Both. Like,
Okay.
explain what you just said. Just
Once a person starts to question his life, he doesn't have pure faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So if you want to change.
Wait. Let's understand what that means. There's questioning, why did you do this to me, God? In a sense of, I don't believe what happened to me right now is for my benefit. This shouldn't have happened. I'm in pain for nothing. And there is, why did this happen to me? I don't understand, please reveal it to me. It's two different things. When you question God, for example, a lot of people, you have to know how to balance this, and I'll explain to you what I mean. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nihya b'zero. When a person comes, for example, 30 years old, he's not married, and he says, I'm such a good guy, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I do everything, I give ma'aser, I work well, I'm tsanua, and he gives the whole 9 yards, right? The whole thing. He has a whole list. He says, why can't I get married? Why not? Right? What's so funny? It's not only because certain people here are in that age bracket. I'm talking about hundreds of people have this problem. Both men and women. They don't realize that through their dating career, how many chances they had, and they blew it off.
It's not about anything.
And everyone knows this. Sometimes being too smart shoots you in the foot. People don't realize this. Why? Because it's better to blame the world than to take responsibility. That's the fact. You're right, you could say it about everything, even about work.
Everything.
People don't try, they don't have effort. People want to get rich fast. Easy guap. Nothing's easy. Whatever comes easy, goes easy. And if not, the feds catch up, and trust me, you get caught like you don't even know what hit you. Like a whole bunch of people now. I'm not gonna even get into it. Don't even ask how I know. 1, 2, 3. Snap, snap, snap. Right? No one thought they're gonna ever get caught. Boom, behind bars. What happened? Such big balei tzedakah. Shtuyot. Nonsense. Nonsense. Why? Can't use God as an excuse. But I did so much good. But your source of what you did was evil. What are you doing? Who you lying to? You can't lie. You're lying. You think you're lying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? It's different. You can lie to a cow, but you can't lie to God. So, when you say, do we have that same feeling? No, because when a person is an Oved Avodah Zarah, I guarantee to you, in the back of their head, they know they're bowing down to a damn cow.
Okay.
It's an animal.
But you can say
It's something that they understand.
Okay, but let's say I'm praying Shemona Esrei in my room, that I pray every single day, and I'm looking
Correct.
out my window. I could say I'm praying to thin air.
Okay, so this
Or
is...
I'm just using this book as a guidance that some rabbi wrote. I know, obviously, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I don't know, okay.
But that's what you
She's
can
asking
say.
the question that everyone has, but no one has the Beit team to ask them. So we'll address it. I don't know when last. I know you came last week, but last week I don't know when did you come. I don't know at which time. Did you hear when I spoke about my wife? What question she asked?
No.
Okay, so my wife last week asked me a question 2 weeks ago. She said, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur finished. Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur finished. It's so funny. You're watching through the recording when I'm right in front of you. It's so you see, this is the pure meaning of genius. This is a Kamala Harris supporter. This is exactly what I mean, right? Okay. Listen, focus. She asked me a simple question. She said, how come we're still davening Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur just finished? Halas, we're done. Let's wait till next Rosh Hashanah. Didn't we anyways pray for the whole year? Right? It doesn't make sense now every day to say the exact same davening. So I broke it down to her and I explained to her that, first of all, we have to understand really what davening is.
This is not something that comes hard to me. I'm just trying to understand how.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I know. Do you say when you go into your door. Why every time I have to open up the door with the same key? I want to use a different key every time.
You're not gonna get in.
No, it's stupid. You have the same key your whole life to your door. Change the key. Leave the lock. Don't touch the lock. The lock didn't do anything wrong to you. You carry the key. Change the key every time. What's going to happen? You're not going to be able to get in. But it's so boring. You're wearing that. You have the same key. You're not understanding. Davening, prayer, that was compiled and it was enacted and set up, certain words and letters and psukim are the keys to Sharei Shamayim. They are the keys for our tefillot to go up. So how come we don't feel this way? Because you feel when you pray that it's a duty and not a desire. Mm-hmm. That has to be changed in you, not in the tefillah. I will give you a romantic novel to read, and every day for davening you have to read 5 pages. You'll get sick of it too. Why? Because in your brain it became an obligation. And in human nature, when something becomes an obligation, automatically what happens? We don't want to do it.
Why?
Because we as humans don't like to be told what to do. That's what makes us a slave. A free person knows how to put his head down and say, I will do it.
What?
And I explained to you.
You
I know we're getting off tangent, but I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna explain. We have 2 people doing the exact same thing, right? One person has a desire in doing it, and one person hates doing it. But they both do it. What's the difference?
One hates, one doesn't.
No, what's the difference?
One hates doing it, and one is fine with doing it.
One has a desire. He built a certain want to do it, and one is forced to do it.
One is happy doing it.
When you are forced, you are a slave because you don't really want to do it, but you're still doing it. Boo-hoo on you.
Yes.
But the person that's doing it out of his own desire, even though he's obligated to do it, but he's doing it out of his own desire, is not a slave. He's doing it because he decided he wants to do it. Are you with me, or are you lost?
Yeah, I'm with you, but also not, because I told you, like I always say, the natural desire for the body is that we don't want to actually do it.
Listen to this. Okay, if somebody has a job that he hates, he's gonna go there. Oh, I gotta go to work again. But if somebody goes to work that he likes the environment, he loves the job and all that, he's gonna come in with a smile.
And he knows that
He's
job's
gonna do
gonna provide for
more
his
than what
family.
that he needs to do, even.
He's gonna overdo it.
That goes to Torah Mitzvot as well. Now, let's get back to what she said. You ready to hear the difference? When someone's an Oved Avodah Zarah, he doesn't have the obligation to connect to the Avodah Zarah. He has the obligation to serve the Avodah Zarah.
Okay.
In Torah, our obligation is actually to get to know our master. This is what they don't teach us in yeshiva, unfortunately. Before we go into all the mitzvot and serving, we have a mitzvah we say every day. And after Shema Yisrael, what's the second thing we say? Yeah. After we say Baruch Shem Kivod Machton Amed, what do we say? V'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. We have an obligation to love God. Loving God means I have to get to know Him. I cannot love without getting to know. So automatically in Torah, you have to have a relationship with the Creator of the world.
I don't believe that you could say that other religions, for example, don't have a relationship to their gods, because they also have to sacrifice a lot in their religion to.
Regarding Avodah Zarah, no, and I'll explain to you.
Can we say one is based on rationale? Like one's it makes sense. Like it's rational.
No religions make sense.
I think why? I think the Jewish religion makes sense.
No, you're saying that because you're Jewish.
That makes sense to you.
Other
people would be like, yo, who eats a cracker for Passover? Like, it's not normal.
But if you learn why, then it makes sense.
Okay, then if you learn why,
Then
you could say that about any.
By the way, you don't feed bread on Passover, it's going to take off years of your life. If you tell that to any person, they'll look at you like you're retarded.
No,
Correct me
it's
if I'm wrong,
worse.
Gary.
It's worse.
Correct.
Yeah,
No, correct me if I'm wrong.
but correct.
That means you
When,
cut it off from
when the
nation.
class is ready to be silent, I will address the topic in hand. I'm going to give you an example. When we say Avodah Zarah, we're not talking about Islam. even though whatever, there's a big machloket on my end if it is or not, but
Not Christianity.
Christianity is a big question.
It's a debate.
It's a big question. According to the Baalei Tosfot, maybe not. According to most poskim, it is Avodah Zarah. What I'm going to tell, but I'm going to tell you why Christianity, there is a sense of not getting to know your Creator, and I'll tell you why. When someone gets married, right? You're in that stage of your life. Very soon is the wedding, right? When you get married, are you expected to do certain things in the house or even outside the house? Forget about you being a woman. Do you know that you're going to have certain obligations?
To be loyal.
Right. How about you? Right? Everyone knows they will have certain obligations and duty. Christianity, there is no duty. There is do whatever you want, but admit that there's a guy that is going to save you from all disasters. That means I don't have to do anything really in order to be a Christian. It's amazing, this religion, if you ask me. If I wouldn't be Jewish, I would be Christian, I think. I can do all the averot. I can do all the sins. And then at the end of my life say, Savior, save me from all disasters. And whatever, Gehenna and all this thing, whatever they believe in, right? It's free. Of course I'm going to love him. I'm not loving him based on anything. I'm loving him on my selfishness. I'm not loving him because of who he is.
Right.
So there's no connection there. It's stupidity. Now, when you take other Avodah Zarah, like if you go to Buddha and you go to all these other things, there is really no connection between the master and the server. It's just the server has to serve the master. And I spoke to people that are in these religions. There is no sense of connection. In the Torah, God obligates us to have a connection with him. That's why there are Jews that are very robotic and dull, and there are Jews that are very always high and ecstatic. What's the difference? The ones that are ecstatic and always high, they actually have a connection to their Creator. They love God. Now, for some people, that's weird as hell. Like, how do you love God? What's it to love? Now, as you learn, you realize that Judaism teaches us, the Torah teaches us that God and us are one and the same. Whatever. It's very dangerous what I'm saying, but this is the reality. It's one and the same. We are a piece of God. This piece of God in us, we have to make it so. We have to reveal it in such a positive way that when I feel this honest to God, I'm actually feeling a sense of I belong. Because you can't feel a sense of belonging unless you belong. Did you understand what I just said?
Yes.
You understood? You can't feel a sense of belonging somewhere unless you actually belong there. The Torah teaches us when you have this v'ahavta, to love God and to love every Jew and to connect to God in a more of a I want to because I want to get to know you. Where is that feeling actually coming from? It's not coming from thin air. You didn't create it. You're igniting it. It was already there to begin with. This is why everyone gets it wrong. That's why to do mitzvot as a robot is such a low level. I'm sorry, it's disgusting. Because you're not doing it because you really want to serve your Creator. You're doing it just because you want the brownie points, as they call it.
So it's better to just drop it because you're at a low point?
No, what's better is to do it and also learn about it, why I'm doing it. That's the better thing. Don't say either yes or no. No, yes and additional work, not less work. It's like saying, oh, I can't get a good job. Oh, maybe I just go on unemployment and stay home. No, get up. Figure it out, get a good job, and continue going in life. Trust me, you don't want a kid that one day is going to say to you, Mommy, listen, you don't like what I do, so I might as well not do it. No, you're going to pull the kid by the ear, you're going to say, not only are you going to do it, you're going to learn how to do it right. Right? That's exactly how you have to address your child. You can't say, oh, it's okay, Bobby, oh, you're so beautiful, just go to your room. No, get your tuchas down and get things done. Yes, that's the proper way of doing things. But since it applies to you, everyone here, so what do we say? Either yes or no. because it's an easy way out.
No, I'm asking you, what would you do if you're at that low point? Because I believe that a lot of people.
I believe everyone's in that low point. I believe everyone, every single day of their life, hits that low point. Every day. They hit it. They feel it. Oh, I did something wrong. I'm done. Forget about it. Oh, I did this. I did that. No, you did it. You ask for forgiveness and you go weiter. You continue living your life. You can't allow this negativity that you yourself put upon yourself to drag you down. That's what we have to remember. This is why people can't get out of their, not comfort zone, but they can't get out of the depression that they're in. They can't get out of it because they don't know how to just let go and continue moving on. Because they're so stuck into their past, they forget to cut it out. And that's our problem. And that's what Avram Avinu did. He was 75 years old, Rabotai. Go tell your grandparents that are 75 years old, let's go somewhere. Oh, Manamon, I'm too old for this. They say, oh, this hurts, that hurts. I cannot eat, I cannot sleep, I cannot walk. Avram Avinu packed shop and said, bye-bye, I'm leaving. Salamat. He took all the souls that he made in Haran, that means all the Balei Tshuva, his students, his wife, his nephew, the Torah says, and he left. Alach. Why? 75. Ishtagata? Midlife crisis? You became crazy? Majnun? No. He got a commandment by a God that he served, which he knew existed but never was revealed.
No, but I feel like
You see, you have it easy because you guys are talking on shoulders that are very big.
What does that mean?
It means Avram Avinu had no one to rely on.
He just took
Until
the
he
risk.
didn't get his first prophecy at the age of 75, you can say he was still not 100%, even though he was 100%, but no one else was worshiping God. Who else was worshiping? Shem ve'ever? A God? I don't know if he even met them. They say that he did, but come on. You have a father, and he has a father, and he has a father, and he has a... And you know your lineage. There was Moshe Rabbeinu, and you went to Har Sinai. So you are actually relying on who? People that already did it.
Wasn't Noah alive still?
Noah already was bye-bye at this time. Elamai, Avram Avinu had nobody. He had nothing. Nothing. And
Well-
you know what? It didn't stop him.
But
Because
why? If everyone around him, if nobody believed in one God, why did he still continue to do it without seeing any revelation until this age of 75? What gave him that push? If let's say, like, even in our community, right? Let's say it's like not even in general people, right? We all have one belief, and this one guy out of, let's say, 1 million people has this belief. You look at him like he's crazy.
Correct.
So why did he keep? What gave him that strength, quote unquote, to continue until 75?
Emet.
Yeah, but he didn't have anyone to go to. Emma.
You're not listening. When you know something is not true, regardless how many people around you, you have a choice at that moment to make. And you have this a lot in your work right now. You don't need to elaborate. You know there are certain things that are allowed and not allowed. You have a choice at that moment. Everyone's doing the not allowed and they're making bank. You have a choice right now. I'm gonna stay with the emet and I'm not gonna reap the benefits, but I know what I'm doing is right. Will I take it or will I not? Don't answer. Majority of people won't take it. You wanna know why? Because they like to be part of the wave. Avraham Avinu said, there is no part of the wave. It's either it's true or it's not true. Everything else around is irrelevant. It's pointless. So what do? We lie to ourselves. All of us here. All of us lie to ourselves. Why? Because we want to give ourselves a pat in the back. No one else is going to give you a pat in the back. So you give it to yourself. So who are you lying to? Yourself.
But how do you know he was Ahmed though? How do you know?
Yeah, how did he even find the first place?
Because he tested.
Because an
everything.
idol can't be Emet.
He
Yeah,
looked.
but
But he still never got an answer, guys. He never got an answer though.
Go
He
back.
didn't, I'm answering you. He didn't need to get an
That's not
answer
possible.
from God because he knew it was not real.
Okay, but how did he know God is real?
Because look,
He didn't know. No, this is where you're getting it wrong. He didn't know who God was. He knew there was a creator. That's what he knew. You know, like all
How
these
do you know that?
atheists that will never admit there is a God, but they are the biggest believers. They believe there is a creator, but they don't know what it is or who it is. And how can this creator give laws? What kind of low life of a creator that is, right? Avram Avinu knew there is a creator to the universe. It can't be a stone is going to go, you're going to bow down to a tissue box, and the tissue box is going to give you, the only thing the tissue box is going to give you is the tissue to wipe the tears that you're praying for. That's the only thing the tissue box is going to give you.
Yeah, but going back to your point, not only you said there was black magic, you said the stones would perform, I don't know, miracles, whatever the case may be. So I'm saying, it's not like there's a stone and it doesn't do anything like today. Before they had black
Correct.
magic, the snakes.
They
whatever.
had.
So he saw that, so one could think, oh, you know, it's another power we can go to. Saying, what gave him that thing that, he said at age of 4 he realized it, but did God himself plant that in him, or was it up?
So the Torah says, in Parashat Mishpatim, you're not allowed to go to people that can tell the future.
Yeah, but nobody could do that anymore.
Oh, not true. Put the high horses down, lady. There are people that could.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Aren't there rabbis that could? Like,
Yes. You can do it from both ways.
I know.
Because that's what you tell yourself. It's like the same people that tell me Ain Hara doesn't exist anymore. Oh, that does why? Because it affects you personally. That's also true. But wait, I didn't finish. We're not going to get into a debate right now. The Torah says you shouldn't go to these kind of people. You shouldn't go to people that do seancing, that bring the dead down. People that can read coffees and palms and all these things. Yodei Itim that can tell you the future. Right?
Mm-hmm.
People that go to these people know that this power that they have is not their own power. They have to attract something in order to achieve it. The question is, who is the original attractor behind it?
God.
No, you're saying that. Let's say there was no God in the picture. Can you come to a conclusion who is the one that's doing it actually?
Do you think it's cosmic power, no? Or something?
Maybe
Doing
they could
what?
think by there's certain.
Black magic.
Unless they use names of God, or they just.
Don't go into that. I'm asking you a question. You're trying to figure be a Oibra Chacham.
You know what that is. But I don't know, some kind of energy. Yeah, some kind of energy.
Avram Avinu realized everything that's happening, it's not happening because the Creator is doing it. It's happening because people are doing it.
Say that? Can you say that again?
Baruch Hashem! Manav, straight. Understand? Straight, you don't really have to say.
Alright,
but
can you
okay.
say that again with Abraham? What do you say? The action?
When I go to someone, let's say, right? I went to people that do these things. Not b'tzad hara, but b'tzad tov. You're not allowed to go to these people. But whatever the case is, right?
Test the water?
You have to know that it's not him that's doing it. Can you explain who's doing it?
Like Ruach Tumah, no?
Whatever the case is, it depends who you go to and what you go, right? Avram Avinu realized this is all man-made. There has to be a cosmic power and energy that created the force of life.
Yeah, but back to them, they believed in many gods, so you could say that.
Correct. But to have many gods cannot work. And I'll explain to you why. You're not married yet. You guys are getting married. The first initial arguments in the house is going to be who's going to be the dominant one. Dominancy, control, who's in power.
That's gonna happen right away.
It's all, every fight is because of that. It's all a mental fight. People don't
Why can't you
realize
just
it.
know that we're dominant?
Right away.
Why is a woman trying to prove dominance?
Don't talk now out of your tuchas. Listen, learn to listen.
You're scary. Bro.
Listen, learn to listen. You focus here,
Make one more
right?
message.
To say that this world has more than one creator is basically saying that this world is not perfect. The fact that it has one creator, this what makes the world perfect. Were you confused?
saying even in this society, right? Now everyone has
Forget
jobs.
about this society.
No. Okay, this world. Everyone has jobs, right? I do this, she does that, he does this. Same thing. I'm not saying I believe this. I'm saying in their heads it could be like, oh, there's certain gods for certain tasks, for certain things.
No, and I'll tell you why. When stuff comes to power is a disease. Did you ever learn Greek mythology? You know how the gods all killed themselves at the end? They fought to the death. Why?
Power.
I already said.
Power.
You can't tell me there's more than one God. It's idiotic to even say that. The problem with us is we want to understand God. You know why that's a problem? Because God is beyond time. First, I want you to try to understand something that has no time. You can't. It's impossible. So you want to try to understand the creator of the world that's based on no time? Once we know our place and we learn to be nafasiach, shut our mouth, and learn to accept the reality, then we can grow. But if all your life you're just questioning something that you have no idea of understanding, you're never going to grow because you're always going to be questioning. What was your question?
It's related, but not exactly. I remember during
Normal woman question, no?
We got it right away.
during the Parsha Bereshit, somebody mentioned to me, I don't know how true this is, so correct me if I'm wrong, but somebody was saying that Hashem created a few worlds,
Yes.
and it wasn't that he didn't like it, and
No.
and he destroyed it.
Yes.
Okay, what was the reason?
I thought it's
Before I
perfect.
continue my question.
Did he destroy the world with Mabul and then redo it?
No and yes.
Can you elaborate
Okay,
on that?
anyway, so there's a few worlds that he created. For whatever reason, he destroyed it.
Yes and
because
no.
it wasn't perfect.
No, yes.
What? But it doesn't make sense to me because if you're gonna tell me, and it's a question I've been thinking of for a while already, if you're gonna tell me that Hashem created these worlds, for whatever reason destroyed it because he didn't like the way it came out.
So then he's not perfect. How can he create a world that he doesn't like?
Yes.
No and yes.
Can we get the answer?
Or why is he so
Let her first finish.
disappointed enough that he had to create the flood and then make a rainbow and have all these, how is that perfect?
You ready to hear the question? You ready? You ready to hear the answer?
Yes.
First of all, did you understand the question?
Yeah. 100%. It's a good question.
Your question, first of all, the source of your statement comes from Masechet Chagigah. The Gemara says Hashem built worlds, destroyed them, built worlds, destroyed them, built worlds, destroyed them 7 times until created this world.
Why did he?
Unfortunately, people don't learn Torah Hasod. Torah Hasod is the mystical side of the Torah. Hashem created 10 Bara love energies. I don't know if you're gonna understand, but since you asked, I'm gonna answer you. These 10 Bara love energies are 10 different revealments of godliness. In these 10 different levels of godliness, God wanted them to work in a unison form. They should work together.
This is the other world?
No, listen first. You're going to worlds. You're trying to understand the worlds before understanding how the world was even created to begin with.
Okay, sure.
Right? So, example. God created, he took earth, he took water, fire, wind, rock, trees. He took all these elements. And he told these elements work together. Because you are my revealment on this earth. So each element decided not to work together. Because they all wanted what?
Power.
Key word. So when they decided to start working together, not because they wanted to, but because they wanted to seem like they wanted to, they got into what's called explosion. They started to, one couldn't accept the other one because he wasn't ready to give in. When a person is not willing to give in to the other one, he can't accept the information he gets. And it created a bang. And that bang created destruction. And that destruction created this world.
The Big Bang Theory?
The Big Bang Theory is true, but you have to learn how to learn it. Wait. Why do we have mitzvot? Do you want to know why? Today is the day I will reveal it to you. Our mitzvot is the physical revealment of the energies that broke that we need to do to fix in order to bring it back up.
But why don't you...
You're not listening. You're not listening. You're jumping. Comprehend, understand, and then ask. Again, Hashem created a certain amount of revealment. And He told this revealment to work together. They didn't work together and they created destruction. That destruction led to this world. Of course, there's other 4 worlds in that parallel, that at a distance. Our obligation of doing mitzvot is those broken pieces that broke, that we need to fix as Jews. We need to fix it.
So we need to
You're not listening. You're jumping. By us doing the mitzvot, we are rebuilding those worlds that got destroyed. Comprehend?
Yes.
Correct. Wait. Now you can ask a question. Why did He need to do this? What was the point of it? I thought He's perfect. Create them already in perfectness. There is something called bechira, choice. Hashem created us all with a choice. I'm not going to get into it. Is there bechira? Isn't there bechira? But for argument's sake, we'll say that there is today. This bechira, we have to understand. God is so enormous and so lofty that if He didn't dense out His light, His revealment, we wouldn't be able to survive. So He created other dimensions and realms and worlds and worlds and worlds for us to be here today in order for us to accept His light, His aura.
Why do you need to go through that process?
Because He wanted to give to you.
Why can't you give to us without that process?
Because we wouldn't be able to handle
Because
it.
you won't know what giving is then. I want you to listen.
That's the thing.
You're asking 2 questions simultaneously, not knowing what you're asking. Why did God need to create this world if He's perfect? That's the first question you're asking. The answer is because He cannot be considered a perfect God if He has no one to give to. Then what is He perfect for? So He created this world to complete Himself by giving to you. Not complete Himself and Him. He's complete. But His actions to be considered complete, He needed to create you. By you being here today, when He gives you, He's considered complete. That's the first question. Why did He need to go through? Why do we need to go through all this? Just give it to us, right? You won't understand what good is until there's also evil. So to have a clarification between good and evil, He needed to also create evil. So that's why there's a power of good and evil. And how do we know He created evil? Because evil was already created before the sin of Adam Arishon. And how do we know that? Because the snake was already saying to Chava to sin. If there was no evil beforehand, how could the snake tell her to sin? There was no concept of sinning. It has to be that the concept of sin was already created. And this is extremely deep. I don't know if anyone understood, but this is a very deep philosophy in Torah Hasod and Torah Hasidut, which gives us the understanding of why we do mitzvot. So you're gonna say, what's the difference between man and woman? Women come from a different realm, and men come from a different realm. But the only way we can complete each other is by getting married. Because the point is for us to be together. Now, why don't women do certain mitzvot and men do certain mitzvot? Because women have different things to fix, and men have different things to fix. What was the problem with the flood? Men thought they're women and women thought they're men. So they started fixing the other things problem and not knowing you're doing a bigger destruction. Imagine God forbid, not me, I should maybe use this example, but I'm going to use it anyways. Imagine you see a guy outside wearing a pad. Right? You think he's retarded. What the hell's wrong with you? It's not for you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Right? It's the same thing. When a woman goes and says, I have to do the mitzvot that are required for me. Why? Because this is my duty. This is my job. Doesn't make you less than a man. This is where the society got it wrong.
Which woman want to do a man's mitzvah?
Have you not seen the women of the wall that are wearing tefillin and putting on and doing all this stupidity. Like, what's the? You know what it is? A man can't even do their mitzvot. Women now also want to do their mitzvot. What is it? They don't want to do men's mitzvot. You know what they want? Superiority.
Hi, my name is Rav.
Without knowing, I'm sorry, without a woman or a man even understanding that there are certain goals and tafkidim that I need to do, and there are certain goals and tafkidim jobs that she needs to do, that's how you get a pure unification family. When everyone knows their role and everyone respects it. But when the roles are not respected and everything is forced, then the woman and the man say, I feel like I'm in a cage, this is not a marriage, this is a jail. So does one really need to give in to the other? No. They just need to understand each other's roles. That's where everyone gets it wrong.
And what are their roles?
That you talk to your kala and your khatan teacher and they'll take care of it.
Okay, and what about the flaws that come in with certain personality?
The flaws are what you need to fix.
Right. But that has nothing to do with the roles of a man or a woman.
It doesn't, but it has to do with your improvement. It means, let's say a man has to do certain things, but he has certain problems. Let's say he's an angry person, or he's a kamtzan, he's a stingy person. While he starts to develop certain midot that he needs to work on himself, automatically what happens? The responsibilities that he does as well becomes more enjoyable because he's working on those flaws. But if those flaws are not getting worked on, then all the responsibilities that are happening just become more of a burden. That's why a smart woman knows how to press the right buttons. And a stupid woman only wants to feel that she's right. Not knowing she can achieve that by knowing how to press on his buttons correctly.
Can you elaborate on that?
No. This is
You
not
know the secrets
this
of
is
it.
not a marriage a shiur, but you're going to a kala teacher. I hope she has some dat and chokhmah and she's going to be able to teach you these things. Because if she doesn't,
So be it.
it's not so be it. Then what happens is I get phone calls after marriages. Then it's retroactively I have to do the job that other people needed to do. What was your question?
You know there's certain mitzvahs that, like, there are certain mitzvahs that men have an obligation to do, like, for example, they shake lulav at the dog.
Yeah.
The woman is not obligated.
Correct.
Why is it that certain mitzvahs, like, why are we not given the opportunity to get a mitzvah?
Okay, so I'll explain.
When men
I'll
are
explain
able to, and
I'll
women
explain
aren't?
I'll explain to you.
I'm not talking about like stealing and stuff like that. I'm saying like
It's all the same thing.
no, but I'm
Yes,
not talking
it is,
about
but you don't realize it, and I'll explain to you why. We have to understand, where do mitzvot come from? As I said before, they come from things that God created that couldn't work in unison. They couldn't work together, so they broke, and their fragments fell on this earth, which formed into mitzvot. Are you with me with that? Okay. Now we have to understand where they fell from. There is a taking energy, which is feminine, and then there is giving energy, which is masculine. Certain mitzvot, their fragments come from a giving energy, and some are from a taking energy. When a woman decides to do a mitzvah, just let you know, everything you guys spoke about is recorded because you can hear it. Just let you know. When a woman decides to do a mitzvah, right, that has to do with giving energy, what she's doing is actually doing a worse effect than she can imagine. Because she's not supposed to be doing that.
okay, but then why are we praying? Technically,
Because
that's-
prayer, got a good question. Some mitzvot are in unison, they're together. They're both in a male energy and in a female energy.
But why is shaking the lulav and the extra
Yeah, but
from
praying
the
is
fire?
giving-
I'm telling you, because what is shaking the lulav etrog? Do you know what it is even?
Yeah,
What is it?
it's I don't understand the question.
You don't know.
What-
I'll explain
what
to
did
you.
ask me? What is it?
What is shaking the lulav etrog? What is it?
What's the point?
Connecting.
Shaking
It's
the
Hashem
lulav.
is everywhere, so shaking them all there.
No, that's what I tell you in first grade. Hashem is here, Hashem is there. Let's shake the lulav everywhere, right? Shaking the lulav
Wait,
etrog,
what?
I'll explain to you.
They like it.
I'll explain. They don't like you. They just don't know. Educators don't know because they don't learn mysticism. So when a kid comes to school and they say, "Why do we do things?" They use a famous excuse because God wanted it, and God is everywhere and He loves us. No.
He does love us.
Correct, but that has not. If I love my daughter, I'm not gonna tell her to go right now and start doing bench pressing because my son, I love him too, and I told him to do that. I'm not gonna tell it to my daughter. That's not love.
Yeah.
Equality has nothing to do with love.
No, but I'm saying why.
I'm explaining to you. You're not listening. You're jumping to the gun. How I said before, some are giving energy, some is taking energy, some is receiving, and some is accepting. Right?
Praying is both.
Now,
Prayers
wait.
goes
Prayer is
up.
prayer is a whole different thing. Oh, I'm gonna get into that. Lulav Torah, for example, is a giving energy. But
Why?
what are we doing when we shake? How do we shake the Lulav Torah? Do you know? No. This is not called shaking. I know. Shaking the lulav is you take from you hold it on your chest, and you push. What are you doing? You're giving.
Okay, but when you pray, you're technically also you could say
No,
giving.
when you pray, you're building. It's different. It's not a
According to
taking.
who?
Wait, when you pray, you're not taking and you're not receiving.
You are.
You're building. No, it's two
Why?
different things.
I don't
What are you
understand.
doing?
When you daven, you're building the framework of what you want and what you need. You're not taking anything.
You are taking.
No, you're not listening.
You're asking Hashem for
No.
something.
That's your personal prayer. When you daven the Siddur, the whole structure of the Siddur, you're building something. You're making a formation. You're forming a certain framework. Now, when you ask for your tefillot, you're filling in that framework with a neshama. And throughout the day, and throughout the week, and throughout the month, and throughout the year, you're taking from what you built. That's why tefillah is both obligated for a woman and for a man. Because you're building. It's a whole different framework. It's a whole different setup. I don't blame you.
I don't get it. Like, I don't get why that's a male mitzvah.
It's what's the
Why
main
is it that
mitzvah?
a woman can't get the opportunity to do a mitzvah that a male has? Like,
Because
you
it's
don't
not.
get the chance to even do that mitzvah.
It's
You're
like
not-
saying, oh, imagine a woman saying, I want to do Brit Milah.
Yeah, but it's different.
No, it's not. It's the same
It's
thing.
different.
No, it's not. You were not born with the ever. You were not born with that body part, so you can't do it. Because
So
you were.
why do we pray?
I'm explaining to you why. You're being stubborn.
No, I just don't understand it. I really don't understand.
Tefillah is a binyan. Tefillah is building. You're building. The framework of tefillah is to build. Mitzvot aseh, mitzvot lo taseh is giving and taking. It's two different things. It falls under a different category.
Is it because a man is supposed to give? Is that why he's...
No, in our nature we give, not we're supposed to. Our nature is to
Is
give.
that why-
That's why
that's
in
why-
biology, how does it work? A man gives to the woman takes, and the woman, what does the woman do? She forms. She forms the baby. How come she forms the baby, nobody else? Because in the nature of someone that takes, he or she has responsibility how to form. Because if not, you can't take. If you can't take, that means you can't form. You see, we think everything is so far-fetched. If we just look at the biology of the human being, you'll understand how God and why God created men and women certain ways. But the problem is, we think if we do certain mitzvot, let's say a woman feels, if I do certain manly mitzvot, it makes me feel better.
Why is
No,
that considered manly?
because it is.
According to who?
According to the Torah.
So it says in the Torah like a woman is not allowed to do
The
something.
minhag, there are certain mitzvot women shouldn't do.
No, I'm saying like for specific, like shaking the lulav and the edrog. If I do that, is that considered a sin? Or is that like, okay, if you want, you get a chance to do a mitzvah?
The lulav etrog you can shake if you want.
And I get a mitzvah.
But you can't do a prayer.
I don't know if you get a
Do
mitzvah.
they get anything out of it? Because for men, we're bringing up.
They get
those
nothing out of it.
fragments.
They're not getting
There were so
nothing.
many rabbis
Because the
that
Ashkenazim hold, I feed that
No, a
Ashkenazim,
lot of rabbis
women,
are asking
according to Ashkenazim, women have to shake the lulav and etrog.
You see, how
Sfaradim,
come for
Sfaradim.
Ashkenazis it's
Because according to Sfaradim, we follow the Ari. The Ari is mystical Torah. We follow more spiritual guidelines. More spiritual guidelines.
And they don't?
They follow more factual guidelines. It's two different things.
I also learned this from like because you're from different areas, parts of the world that halacha slowly changed a little bit. Not halacha, but like the way you perceive.
Our customs change because we follow the Ari. The Ari says certain mitzvot women shouldn't even do. Sfirat Omer, wearing tzitzit, putting on tefillin, lulav etrog. These are things women don't do.
Wait, Sfirat Omer women are not supposed to do either?
Absolutely not.
What?
Absolutely not.
I
We're
always
in Sfirat. You know what we do in Sfirat Omer? We're building the woman.
I thought I was doing that last year.
I always do that.
You don't say the baracha. See, people don't know. Why is it so makbid for men to say Sfirat Omer? Because you're building your Shekhinah at that time. You're building your receivement. Your wife, to be, she is your physical essence Shekhinah on this earth. The way you do your mitzvot, you're drawing energy to her. That's what they say. Your wife is a reflection of you. What does that really mean? Because our whole duty is to build our Shekhinah, to make her perfect.
You mean her to make us perfect? Yeah.
By we doing mitzvot in a perfect way, we're building her, and she then is the perfect giver to us.
So why do I give you such a hard time?
Because you're not perfect. You just missed everything I just said.
I understand what you're saying, but in order to be perfect, I feel like you get a hard time. I feel like you get a hard time. So I'm saying, is that part of it? I'm asking you.
The hard time comes when you're not doing what's proper to her. Spiritually. Ask the question.
Rabbi, there's no question. I don't understand. Like, also, where are you getting these? Like, where's the source of your? Like, where do you get that answer from?
Which one? Which one?
I'm saying like, there's some rabbis that say one thing, and then there's some rabbis that say another thing.
Which answer? And I'll tell you the source.
Like, why is it that everyone has? Like,
Why is it that some rabbis say,
Like, I don't get it.
and follow you around?
I just explained to you why.
She's saying she's not
There is. Okay, Rabbi said we're gonna go back. We're gonna go. Listen. No, there's not any opinions. Listen.
But there is.
No, let's retract. We're retracting. We're retracting. Okay, back to history class. Avram Avinu will be back. There is something called the Chumash. Do we know what the Tanakh is?
Yes.
All mitzvot come from the Tanakh. Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim. All mitzvot is derived from that. Mm-hmm. Then there is that's the Torah shebichtav. Then there's the Torah sheba'al peh. What's the Torah sheba'al peh? That's the oral Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu got from Har Sinai Mipi HaGvura, explaining the psukim and the Torah on the mitzvot that we need to do. Which formed into Mishnah and Gemara. Did you ever learn Mishnah and Gemara?
Yeah.
Okay, I know you did because you went to...
It's a silver spoon.
Yeah. Now, when you learn Mishnah, that is fact. Mishnah is fact. What is Gemara? Explanation of
The Mishnah.
of the fact. Where is the source for this fact? So the Gemara comes and it breaks down. We learned from this rabbi, which heard from this rabbi, which heard this. That this pasuk says this on this. No, but I heard differently. And it breaks it down. Now, in the same time that the Mishnah and the Gemara was getting written, there was a rabbi, his name is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai got from Eliyahu HaNavi the teachings of the Zohar. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai told it to his students, and one of his students, Rabbi Abba, wrote it down. So the Gemara and the Mishnah and the Zohar was almost in the same time. The Gemara was after, but the Zohar and the Mishnah was kimat in the same time. Correct? Following me? Because this is where it breaks off. All the mitzvot we have come from this. Now, the Ashkenazim took a different path. What path did they take? We take only the Torah literally from the Mishnah and the Gemara. This is our source. The Sfaradim said we take the Mishnah, the Gemara, and the Zohar. We take that also as a source because it was written in the same time. You with me? Following? Good. Anytime there is a argument between the Mishnah and the Zohar, the Ashkenazim hold like the Mishnah and the Gemara, and the Sfaradim hold like the Zohar. That's why we Sfaradim do not put on tefillin on Chol HaMoed, and Ashkenazim put on tefillin, at least the Litaim put on tefillin on Chol HaMoed. That's another difference. There's a lot of differences. So when we were in exile, they got a different Mesorah, but based on the Torah, and we took it a bit different according to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai.
Is that allowed?
Yeah, no, it's 100% allowed. There's nothing wrong with it because they were both revealed the same way.
Why didn't we choose to also follow Zohar?
We did. We followed the Zohar.
But and Ashkenazim don't?
Didn't.
So why didn't they?
They didn't because they say that we don't really know where's the origins of the Zohar.
So why do we believe in that?
We believe it because there many years later, there was a rabbi, his name was the Ari HaKadosh. I think everyone heard about him. No? Okay. So his revealment, all the Kabbalah comes from his books that we have. All these red books. Right? A lot. The blue ones, that's the Zohar. That's Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He also had Gilui Eliyahu Navi. He lived around 400 years ago.
What is that?
Eliyahu Navi came and taught him. He didn't get this Torah on his own. This is mysticism. He didn't have a Mesorah who to learn this from. Eliyahu Navi came and gave him all this Torah, which he gave to his student Rav Chaim Vital, which wrote it down. That's who we. One second. I know we will get into a little history. I know everyone's a little bored, but I'm sorry. You have to understand the origins of this. That's who we follow as Sfaradim, and some Hasidim also follow. That's why we don't shave our beards. That's why we have peot. That's why we eat certain Chalav Yisrael. And even though the halacha says you should do all this, but this, what is really the mysticism of the Torah? It explains why we do mitzvot. What's behind the mitzvah? The creation of the world, how God created the world. What was the starting point and what's the ending point? That's what everyone wants to learn, right? But no one really has an idea of really what it's talking about. Because everyone thinks it talks about how to create things. That's just a small little part. No one wants to do the difficult, heavy work. And he brings down that the men and women are two different beings. Because we were created totally different jobs. But in order for us to survive, we need to coexist. That doesn't make you bad and me good, or me bad and you good. This is the problem with the left. This is the problem with this ideology of one needs to be better with the other. No, you all have to be the best in what you do, and we have to be the best in what we do. And it's not a conflict. It's not.
That's not what I'm saying though.
I know what you're saying. You're saying, how come one follows this and says it's allowed, and one says it's not allowed? Okay, because we took a different route. Now, if a Sfaradia wants to shake, if a Sfaradia wants to shake the lulav, she can shake it.
But how do we know who's right?
Because it's not really a contradiction.
It was made for our interpretation to begin
But
with.
how do we know that what we're doing is...
It's not a contradiction.
So we could do it.
No one says you can't keep Torah mitzvot. Everyone says you have to keep Torah mitzvot. The question is, how do you exercise keeping it the proper way? No one says you're allowed to put on a fire on Shabbat. No one says you can do borer, separate on Shabbat. No one says this. The question is, what is considered borer and what is considered putting on a fire on Shabbat? Correct. So there is really no argument. It's just a different understanding of how you do things.
So basically,
That's why when you'll see, as people get married, they like to ask advice from other couples. It's the biggest mistake.
why is that right?
It's the biggest mistake because you're not married to his wife. So the guy listens and does the exact advice, and the wife says, "What are you doing? I don't like this." But my friend told me his wife likes it. Whoa. What are you talking to your friend about me about? Oh, Parshol Karochi, that conversation. And he was trying to do something right? It's never right. Why? Because you and her are two different couples. Cannot combine. It's
How
two
can you
different
talk to a
things.
rabbi then?
Oh, because you have to find someone, a chacham, that's not going to give you advice based on things that he thinks is going to work, but based on facts that knows what's going to work with you both.
Well, he doesn't
That's
know you.
no. That's why you have to find someone that you know. You
So he
can't.
has to know you like very well.
How else are you going to get a proper advice?
I think nobody really, like, you don't really know.
There's basic knowing. Okay, why are we getting into that? Is that did your
I
question?
get it, but
You don't want to accept it.
No, I totally understand.
I understand. I know you understand it. That's why you don't want to accept it.
No, but you're saying I can do Ashkenazi ways and I won't.
You shouldn't do it.
But okay, but is it wrong if I do?
Yes.
But according to like, why is it? Whatever, everyone has their own way, but why is what I do? So how do we know who's right and who's wrong?
There's no right and wrong.
So then why is it wrong if I do that way?
Because there's someone that serves God on a surface level.
But so they.
1 second, I didn't finish. There's someone that serves God on a surface level, and there's someone that serves God in a more spiritual level. Now you're gonna say, so they serve God in a surface level? Yeah, yes. My
They
answer is
do?
yes, yes. And I'll tell
That's
you
an
why.
opinion.
No, it's not. It's a fact, and I'll tell you why. Everyone believes and knows. Everyone believes and knows those books is emet. Everyone. No one ever brought that those books are not emet. Sfaradim, Ashkenazim, Litayim, everyone. To the extent that Ashkenazim don't learn until they're 40. That's how scared they are of those books. They think fire is going to come from heaven and burn them into crisps, right? So they know it's emet. They know it's true.
How can you not accept it if you know it's emet?
No, because you can serve God on a surface level. I can be a halachic Jew. I can follow the literal words of the book, and that's it. But then there are people that want to do lifnei mishrat hadin. They want to go even more. They want to be considered righteous. Those are people that want to understand why they do mitzvot. Now, if I'm learning why I have to do certain mitzvot, I'm also learning why I don't do certain mitzvot. Like, why aren't women allowed to shave their head bald? They shouldn't. They shouldn't. They should not shave. If a woman shaves her head bald, it's a big problem. Very big problem. Of course, if she has disease, so on and so forth.
But back then, many years ago, the Hasidim.
Yeah, they did it. We're not there anymore.
But you see,
No,
I
we're
realize
not.
that they-
So I'll tell you why. Can I explain to you why? The same reason why a woman shouldn't grow a beard. I'll explain to you why. Men come from a certain realm. They are mashpia chesed, which resembles the facial hair, and a woman resembles more gvurot, more strength, more emotions, more I'm right or I'm wrong, more factual. That corresponds to the hair on your head. So when a woman is doing the exact opposite and a man's doing the exact opposite, they're drawing two different lights. Now again, I'm not here to teach you any of these things. But I want you to understand, don't think it's far-fetched. Don't think that everyone's crazy because I want to shake the lulav etrog. Shake it. If it's going to make you happy, shake it. It is about that.
Are you allowed
I
to
don't
say
care about that. I
bracha?
just want to understand.
For Sfaradim, for sure, no. It's safek brachot. It's not even safek. You're not allowed to say a bracha.
No, what do you do when you say when?
No, wait. We have to unclog this clog. We can't continue until it's
I
unclogged.
understand. But you told me so basically it's not a sin. So if I shake the lulav and I'm not gonna get a sin.
No.
This is the way that I understand.
Because this is the problem. You're looking at it as
But then
reward.
another rabbi would say.
You're looking at it as reward and punishment now.
Because why?
It's a problem. No, because you're serving God for reward and punishment. That's not how you should serve God.
Yeah.
So then why are you serving God like that?
I want to understand why is it that way, like, because there's.
I haven't asked you a question.
Ask me.
You want to do things because they're right and proper, or do you want to do things because they make you feel good?
Both. Because what
It
happens
can- it
if
can
you're
be
not?
both.
It can be both.
It can.
So you're not gonna be a reason for you're gonna be faced before God. He's gonna judge.
No, first of all, you're not faced before God, but that's beside the point.
Okay,
No,
whatever. Whenever
No.
you do both, you're doing both. You're
No.
doing,
you can't do both.
why can't you do both?
It's
I
either-
daven because it makes me feel good, and I do it because also it's a mitzvah. It goes hand in hand.
Correct. It does go hand in hand. But you have to understand, you have to leave this idea that I'm doing things because it makes me feel good. Because then the only reason why you'll do things is because it makes me feel good. You have to do things because you have an obligation and a responsibility, and I have to grow a love towards it. Not because it makes me feel good. A lot of things in your life, you're still very young. That's not gonna make you feel good. It's gonna make you feel like garbage. But you're still gonna do it. And you're gonna dread every single second of it. And until you're not gonna find a desire to do it, you're gonna feel like you're trapped forever in it.
Can I tell you why this is something I would like to do? Like, for example, since you're at home, we're not supposed to count.
Woman.
Woman, I meant. But this year is actually the first year I counted, not knowing that I'm not.
With the bracha?
Yes. Because
that
I
simple?
genuinely thought that I was supposed to, but.
First of all,
So
women,
she said?
Sfaradim and Ashkenazim hold, both hold, women don't say it.
Then why in my school they always used to count?
Both Sfaradim and Ashkenazim
Always count.
hold, you don't say it with the bracha.
So, why?
Why? Because it's a time-bound mitzvah.
Oh, actually, I didn't because I missed like a day or two.
Okay, Baruch
But-
Hashem. No.
And
So wait,
but
she
the
got
point
it.
is for me is that I felt connected to counting every single day, knowing why I'm counting and
If you count without a bracha, it's perfectly fine.
Yes, but I'm just saying in general, like these mitzvahs help me to like be present with what's happening in Judaism. Like I'm counting up to Shavuot, or I'm shaking the law of extra guys.
So I'll tell you what you could do instead. You ready?
Yes.
In this Sfirat Omer, I'm sorry, boys, I know we got off tangent, but sometimes you need to do what you gotta do. Sir, this is what happens. In the Sfirat Omer, every day of the Sfirah, if you saw, corresponded a different I don't want to say energy, but a different revealment of God. Chesed shebechesed, chesed shebegevura. Did you even get there? No. Okay. So maybe next Sfirat Omer, I know you're going to be counting down to your wedding at that time, but next Sfirat Omer, you'll come to me and I'll show you what and where in the Siddur it talks about what I'm talking about, and I'll give you a book. I have a book. I have a couple of books on this. In English.
But can you translate Sfirat HaOmer?
Sfirat HaOmer.
Counting
of the Omer. Omer means the gathering of the wheat.
Sfirah isn't Sfirah.
Correct. But Sfirah also means to count. It also means the
what's
energy of God. You see, it's not for no reason those names are the same. You see, because they just want to connect everything to physical and feeling. And I'm telling you, it's beyond physical and feeling. Our Torah is full of godliness. This is not a physical thing. This is pure spiritual. It's pure God. You know what the problem is? We live in such a world that everything needs to feel good and need to be physical. It's not. This is pure spiritual. Okay, I don't want to get into that. You come to me, I will give you this book. You will understand really what every day corresponds. What are we actually counting for? There are 7 weeks. There are 7 days in the 7 weeks corresponding to 7 sfirot, and every 7 sfirot has 7, and you're counting, you're fixing every different day a different midah, a different characteristic trait, and different revealment of God, and that's really what you want to feel.
Right.
But you don't feel it, so you count the sfirah.
I don't know. To me, it's like a connection.
I'm not saying that. I don't disagree with you.
All these things, like davening in the morning, for example, for me, makes me remember that everything's from Hashem. I really like internalize how it's a blessing for me to wake up in the morning, and all these different things that it says. That's how I internalize it.
Correct. And you
That's
should
how I
daven. You
connect to
should
it.
daven. Davening
But
is.
that's one thing, yes, I'm supposed to do. But everything else in terms of the holidays, or in terms of like.
What else in the holidays? I just said shaking the. You're supposed to eat the matzah and drink the wine. What besides shaking lulav etrog?
Like my uncle was saying to me, he's like, you know, like I would say, oh, I'm gonna be in shul on Rosh Hashanah probably a little later because my shul ends later than like my dad and my uncle. And he's like, oh, you don't even have an obligation to be in shul. You should be at home.
You see, like, that's-
No. That I tell you what the difference is. Want to know what the difference is? I'll tell you what the difference is. There's a source in the Torah, and there's one that's wants to make people into slaves. It's 2 different things. Yes, you might have an obligation or a responsibility, maybe not an obligation, but a responsibility to set up the table and so on and so forth. But you also have an obligation to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, here's the difference. You're trying to use a key that doesn't open a door. And I'm telling you, use the right key. So that means you're supposed to daven. You're supposed to connect. You're supposed to even count sfira without the beracha. But don't now say, I want to do A, B, C, D as well when that has nothing to do with you. Or you want to feel a connection to it? No problem. Learn about it. You're getting married soon? Kick his tuchas to make sure he does it. That's your obligation. Your obligation is not necessarily you doing it. It could be you need to learn about it to enlighten other people about it. So we have this idea that we need to swallow the world. How come tefillin you don't feel that way? You know what kind of good feeling it is to wear tefillin? You're wearing a crown. The greatest feeling in the world.
I'm still doing the mitzvah, I just don't.
No, because for you wearing tefillin is you look at it as a masculine thing. You don't want to know something? You want to know? Soon you're gonna also be obligated to wear a crown for the rest of your life.
Crown?
Yeah,
What's that?
it's called covering your hair.
Oh.
That's your personal crown. How come we don't feel? How come the women for their own mitzvot they don't feel a connection, but to do manly mitzvot they do? That's what bothers me. What happened to? What happened? Hey, I know so. That's the difference. How come all the other mitzvot that they have to do? I don't feel a connection. You know, I feel a connection more to what he's doing. A connection comes. A connection comes to what you want it to be. If you don't want it to be, it won't be. If you want it to be, it will be. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very happy and I'm mitlahem that you have this excitement. But know your lane. There are certain mitzvot that are directed for men and certain mitzvot that are directed for women. If your husband's going to come and say, I want to light the Shabbos candles, you know, halachically he could.
Right.
Are you going to let him light it?
No.
Why not?
It's fine.
Exactly. Exactly. I one time told this to my wife. I said, I want to light the Shabbos candle. She looked at me. She's like, get out of here. Get out. I was like, why? It's really my... Yes, yeah. It's really your mitzvah. A man should light it.
What?
Yeah. But since we respect our wife... I wasn't going to say wives, but since we respect our wife, right? We give them this mitzvah to do because they could do it. This is something that they should do. Lighting the Chanukiah, let's say he can't make it, you light it. Many times I couldn't make it, my wife had to do it.
I have a question.
So you have to know how to balance between what I could do, what I can do, when I could do, what I can do. And that's why it says, make yourself one rabbi. Oh, this rabbi says this one says. Of course you're going to be mishkabal because you're flying to 1,000 different people and you're like, oh my God, what do I do with my life? I didn't even say my divrei Torah. What's your question?
Okay. Oh, nasty.
Yeah.
Okay, I was in class today and somebody asked
You guys
a
can
question.
go if you want. What?
Somebody asked a question and I was like, I don't know if it makes, like, tell me what you think. Basically, if you're talking Lashon Hara with someone, right? The person you're talking about, apparently they get to sin as well. Is that true? Like, let's say me and my friend are talking about someone.
I don't know. I have to see it inside.
What?
I don't know. I have to see it inside.
What do you mean?
Yes.
I have to see what you're reading that said that.
No, I'm saying that's what the teacher said.
I don't know. I have
Yeah.
to see it inside. That's my answer.
Like, see what? What do you mean see inside?
Where it says that if the person that's getting spoken about also gets the sin.
So you don't know?
I don't know.
Yes,
I'm proud to say that I don't know. Nothing wrong with saying I don't know.
But also what we're doing.
Go ahead.
So you know back then they had like multiple wives. Why
In
is it?
Morocco right now, you can have multiple wives.
No, but technically right now it's a sin to have more than one wife.
No, it's not. Don't fool yourself.
What?
Don't fool yourself. You're not that
That's
special.
literally. I heard otherwise. My teacher said that.
Because your teacher is a woman.
No, he's a man.
Okay, so
what does that have to do with anything? She said that it's a sin.
No, it's not.
He's cheating on his wife.
No, he's not.
He's cheating
No,
on his
he's
wife.
not.
So if a woman has more than one husband, she's cheating on her husband.
No, she's a whore.
What? How does that make sense?
Can I explain to you
So if
why?
a woman has
Can I
more
explain
than-
to you why?
Yeah, explain.
Okay. Because first of all, let's talk biology before we get into halacha. You ready? Biology, right? If a woman sleeps with two men and she gets pregnant, whose child is it?
Depends, I don't know.
You don't know, right? Exactly my point. But if a man sleeps with 1,000 women and he knows he slept with all 1,000, he gets them all pregnant, whose child is it? Oh, you see how you've answered it fast? That's the difference. That's number one. That's biology. That's number one. That's not. Well, I tell you why. Because a kli, you're a vessel. That's what you are. That means my job, not mine, your husband's job is to make you the most refined and precious thing in the world. That's his job. If it's by loving you and listening and working together and so on and so forth, right? When you have a vessel that, you see, this cup only has one opening. A vessel with multiple openings is not a complete vessel. It's a broken vessel. That's why a woman can only have one husband.
And
A man can have up to 7 wives, according to the
why
Torah.
don't you have more than one wife?
Oh, so come here. You ask a good question. How come we don't do it anymore? Why now? What happened? I'll tell you what happened. You ready to hear the history?
Shall I problems?
No. Our grandparents until maybe 100 years ago had more than one wife.
Without the Shall I problem.
No, it didn't.
But the women
No, it
don't.
didn't.
They get
No, it
married.
didn't. No, it didn't. Lahafech, the exact opposite. It's a proven fact that the woman would please the husband to get the husband's attention, and it would actually make. First of all, you have to understand something. More than one wife doesn't mean they lived in the same house. This is what everyone's problem. People don't know. They lived in different houses, first of all. They might have lived next to each other, but different houses, different tents, and so on and so forth. How come we don't do this anymore? Because the Ashkenazim, get ready, Ashkenazim, were marrying more than one wife, and they couldn't handle it. Because they had no money to support the woman. So there was a rabbi, his name is Rabbi Gershom. He made a takana, he made a decree, an establishment for 1,000 years only, that a man from the lands of Ashkenaz cannot have more than one wife, because he's not going to financially be able to support it. When they brought this decree to the Sfaradim, we took it and we did, not because the men there are sick, because the men knew how to financially support their wives. Now, would saying that, not every man would have more than one wife. Majority of men only had one wife. I want you to understand that. But there were times and situations and abilities that a man could have more than one wife. There's nothing wrong with that. The only forget what that's Shlomo Melech over here. Now, the reason why women wanted to marry, you have to understand. It was you were not understanding the timeline. Women used to be a commodity. They were a price. They were nothing else. What?
Dowry.
Exactly. So for a woman to not be married would be very bad. That means she would have to be left in her father's house. She would have all the chores. She just wanted to get married. So the guy had a wife or two. Can he support? Can he give me kids? Yes, I'll marry him. You want to know something? I'm sorry to break this to you. I don't hold a man should have more than one wife. I reach a certain level of maturity, which I think it's not appropriate. When I was younger, I used to say stupidity. Now that I became older, a couple years back, I say, no way. I would never want such a thing like that for myself. In a million years. I don't even have an inkling of a desire for it. I'm happy with one wife. But if nowadays they would enact a man can have more than one wife, there would be no more shidduch crisis. Absolutely no more shidduch crisis. Do you want to know why?
Because nobody would compare.
Because the woman would stop being picky. The second a woman knows that there's someone else on the line, they start to shake. Correct? But they're not going to reenact it. You want to know why? I don't know why. That's why. And a man nowadays can have more than one wife.
What?
Because
so if you wanted to, you could go get another wife and nothing will happen? You
No.
won't get into that?
No sin whatsoever. He would need to ask his wife for permission. You can't just do whatever you
I
want.
thought it's it's a
No,
sin.
it's not a sin. At all not. At all not.
What do you mean?
At all not. So
You're
it's...
cheating on your
Well,
wife.
why, you're not cheating. You asked her for permission.
Why would she say yes?
Maybe she would say yes. There are a lot of... You would be surprised what kind of women there are out there.
Why would a woman
Oh, some women don't want to spend time with their husband. They just want to get the money and live their own life. You want company? Get married to another wife. You'd be surprised what kind of women there are out there. There are many kinds of women.
So why do people not do that anymore?
They do. They have girlfriends and mistress, and they're cheating, and their wives don't know, and even if their wives knew, they don't even care.
That's considered adultery.
You see, people don't realize. You think it changed? You think anything changed? People cheat on their wives all the time. If I tell you the stories that I know, you would want to bury yourself in the shul right now. They cheat, and the wives cheat on their husbands, and everyone thinks it's okay, and halas. No, nothing changes. Okay? Nothing changes. I don't agree to these things. Don't look at me like I agree. I personally don't agree. But this is the world we live in.
I learned about Isha Sota and all the consequences of if a woman cheats on her
You're
husband.
still in high school, or?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
And I was like, whoa, the punishment is
Yeah, the
so
punishment
bad.
is very bad for a woman that cheats.
But is it different for a man?
A man's punishment is also not so good. A man cannot cheat on his wife according to the
Well,
Torah.
you just said that
it's
if
the
he
Shem
marries
Mitzvot.
another woman, it's not considered cheating.
It's not cheating.
If you marry.
He asked permission.
So if he doesn't ask permission, it's cheating?
Maybe not.
What? Rabbi, I don't understand.
It depends on the circumstance.
Isn't
What do
it
you
called?
mean?
Wait, instead of cheating, can we say adultery?
If he married her, it's not
So
considered.
what's considered cheating
I'm
for a
saying if he
man?
didn't marry her, then it's adultery. No?
Sleeping with a married woman. Sleeping with a woman that's not his wife.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
That's not his wife.
Yeah,
But that's
But if he goes right now and marries another woman, it's not cheating.
But he has to ask permission.
That's a proper thing to do. I don't know halachically if he really needs to, but that's the proper thing to do.
I don't understand.
Now again, no one is gonna do this. I don't know why we've been having this
Because
conversation.
I want to understand this. I have a lot of questions.
Because you have emotional questions.
No, I have a million. Every time I need to know the answer.
There's nothing to answer. No one's doing this. This is not something that's done anymore. No one marries more than one wife.
Yeah.
Would a rabbi allow it?
You have to get 100 rabbis to agree.
Where did you get that?
Rabbi, I know
Yeah, it's called you need 100 rabbis to sign on a paper that we allow for if you're Ashkenazi. Sfaradim, I don't think they have to do this, but that we allow this man to have a more. There's many stories. You have to understand. Sometimes a wife becomes psychotic. No, not because psychotic. She needs help. She becomes mental. She becomes insane. She needs to go to a mental asylum. She becomes retarded. You don't know. Sometimes there are women that want to take revenge. They run away. The man's left alone. He's gonna be stuck. What is he gonna do?
Okay.
What should he do?
You don't have to get a get before you get married.
She left. He can't give her a get. Where is she? I want to give her the get.
Okay,
Where does she go?
There was a famous story how a man didn't want to give his wife.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the opposite now.
Yes, but
What does he do? He gets remarried.
and the woman's not allowed to get
No, woman's
married.
not allowed.
She can until she gets the get.
If
Okay,
it's
so
the
she's
opposite.
stuck in that relationship.
Yeah.
It's
If he
called,
doesn't
yeah,
consider-
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a big klala, there's a big curse to those kind of men that do that. A man that holds a get from his wife, all the curses on the Torah is on his head. I agree. I don't think now because I'm a man, I'm full force, kill all the women and let all the men live. That's not what I said. I don't believe in these things. The Torah doesn't agree to this. If a relationship is not working out, they tried everything. They spoke to people that they could, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, if that's the only way, which I don't believe, but if let's say that is, I believe a get is required for one thing and one thing only. Only one thing. If there's cheating involved. If there is no cheating, there's no requirement of a get. Everything can be fixed.
What about abuse physically?
That can be fixed until it gets to a certain point.
So cheating is the only
Cheating is the only reason why you give a man or a woman a get. Abuse can be
What's
fixed.
that? What is that?
A divorce document.
It's
Everything else can be fixed. Everything else. If a man's abusive, if a woman's abusive, that can be worked on. Unless it gets to a certain point that it becomes already life-threatening. But if a man smacks his wife or pushes her, he beat me up! No, he didn't. No, relax. He didn't beat you up. He got physical a little bit. He needs to be spoken about. Maybe he needs his hands to be broken. Maybe. Or the opposite way around, when a woman can throw plates and knives and things all around the house, and that's not abuse, right? Which I got those phone calls also.
You get phone calls like that?
Yo, you'd be surprised what I get.
Oh my
and you come to a conclusion, you don't want to know what I get, unfortunately. And in you come to a conclusion, you have to understand where is the verge that it should get to such a degree. Let's just conclude this shiur because I think, what is it already? 2 hours we're on already?
No, 1 hour.
An hour and 30 minutes. Let's just conclude here. Very simple. Men are men and a woman are women. And if we both know our roles and jobs and we stop competing and work together, we'll have a happy, successful, beautiful life. Life only gets bad when I want to do her job and she wants to do my job. That's when it gets bad. Don't ever forget that. That goes to everyone here. Anyone that's listening. Know that in order for me to succeed, I need to focus on what I'm good at. And so too for the man and the woman. In times she needs help, you have to help. And in times he needs help, you have to help him. But to say, I want to do his role, that's suicidal. You shouldn't want that. I hope I answered most of the questions. A lot of things we talked about are very deep and they need different kind of teachings. But it's okay not to understand everything. That's it.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
That's
I'm
it.
gonna ask like 100 questions.
Go ahead.